Ah, hello, Facebook. Hello, you. Live video sales interviews, and I'm blessed to be able to say that the first interview stroke out is with my good friend Grant Saunders. We're just off camera at the moment, waiting for all the connections to be made on the various places we're actually broadcasting out to. And my phone has announced that we're live on Facebook, so that's good. And we shall remove the picture when the countdown clock is finished. If you're watching live, thank you. Please do say hello and tell us where you're watching from. If you've got any questions about a variety of topics today, really, because I'm really looking forward to this, because Grant is actually a stage hypnotist. That's his profession. So let's find out more about that as the countdown clock finishes and disappears and that card shrinks and we're here. Hello, Grant.
Hey, hello, Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's really good to see you. Now, the first thing I've got is I've got a comment coming straight away. So
brilliant.
Let's take the comment. Okay, and it's Ed, and Ed is saying greetings from Orlando. Ed, thank you for joining us, and it's great to be here today. Right, first I want some advice.
Go on.
Okay, this is how we're going to start out, because you do quite a number of interviews, don't you?
Yes.
Right. So can you tell me how you organize those interviews?
Generally, as in getting guests on, I use Calendly, which is a great way of kind of helping them work with their diaries, because having something like that, because otherwise you end up playing kind of like email ping pong, trying to sort out dates times. So Calendly is a fantastic tool for doing that. But yeah, it's and it's weird because the more you put it out there, the more people show an interest in it, the more people want to come on board and do interviews as well. But sometimes it can be like herding cats.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And Ed is saying something about sound. I'm not sure, Ed. Wait a minute. The sound is back. The sound it's gonna be a gremlin day. We know that. Yeah,
the joys of live.
True. I mean, the thing about interviewing people is you do get a chance to learn. Yeah,
absolutely.
That you actually bring people on who you're interested in a topic that they can talk to.
Yeah, for me, it was quite interesting because some of the guests that I've had on my show, I've not always been people that I've had the same viewpoints as well. And weirdly, it's quite a competitive market, the hypnosis world. And I know some of these guys have been quite, let's just say, not aligned with my views, but to have them on board, you can have those discussions. And like I say, if you've got an open mind, you do learn more from it. It's always, conversations is a great way of finding out different people's viewpoints and maybe challenging some of your own personal views as well. So I found it really, really rewarding.
Brilliant. Indeed. Let's go back to sound way out of sync. Okay, I'm going to close a few things at my side. Okay, let's take a moment. I'm going to find us on Facebook and just check this out.
Yes.
So if I go to me and I go to my profile, I'm not there. Just a minute. Oh, typical. Live video here with Steven. We'll go there, and we are live there. Or are we? I don't know where we're live. Just a minute.
Oh, Ed says it's working now.
Right. Okay. Basically, today we're actually steam driven, Ed. And
yeah, there's a little hamster wheel going, clappers it back here.
Yeah, the steam engine has got to get going. Right now, to me, this is fascinating. But I want to ask you the question: what do you do?
What, as in to hypnotize people, or what I do once I've hypnotized them?
Right. Okay. When did you first decide to become a stage hypnotist?
It's a weird one. I started out more doing the therapy side of stuff, and I used to do a lot of stuff business wise, and I had a fear of public speaking. And I thought the best way of getting over that is to do a public demonstration. And after the first one, I was absolutely hooked. I absolutely loved that feeling. So that's what kind of got me doing into the stage stuff. And I love the idea of kind of transforming people from their day-to-day lives, where they come and see a show where they just laugh and it changes their mood, so they entertain it in me. Absolutely loved it, and I've never looked back since, really.
Brilliant. So you actually do this not just in the UK, but you do this globally.
Absolutely, yeah. Weirdly, the Brits have a weird history with hypnosis, so it's actually harder to work in the UK. But whereas like America, they really accept hypnosis, and they're some of the best audiences in the world. And I do cruise ship work as well, so that takes me all around the world as well. So, and it's been really lucky. I mean, I love to travel, so I've been very fortunate to find a career that pays me to travel the world and make people do silly things, really.
Right, but that's part of it. But you basically, did you do some training first with NLP?
Yeah, I mean, it's even now I'm still, even though I train other people with hypnosis, I also kind of do that as well. And yeah, NLP is a fantastic set of tools, resources to kind of help people make changes. So from the therapy side of things, and NLP is great for language patterns, understanding people's behaviors. So when people think of hypnosis, they think of that traditional pocket watch, stare at this, close your eyes. NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, that kind of enables you to weave some of those techniques into conversational stuff as well. So that really helps. And especially doing live streams, NLP is a great way of incorporating those language patterns in order to transform your audience into feeling better about the show, into moving them further along to a buying decision as well. So NLP is a fantastic set of skills that I believe most people should learn, no matter what they're doing in their lives. It gives you an understanding of communication and an understanding of oneself.
So, I mean, can you tell us about beginnings of NLP?
My beginnings, or the beginnings of it. I believe I believe NLP was created. I'm sure some people may correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe it was created. It was a linguist and a hypnotist, basically, that were doing psychotherapy. As a hypnotist, when somebody asks you what you do and you say a hypnotist, people automatically put up a guard.
Totally. Yep.
Exactly. If you say you're a neuro-linguistic programmer, people go, "Oh, what's that?" And it's basically the same thing. Neuro refers to the mind, language refers to the words that we use, and programming refers to the change that happens, which is exactly what hypnosis is. And so NLP was developed from that. It got such a strong following because the business community, if you say to people, I've got a guy that's coming in, is a mind control expert that does hypnosis, the business community goes, that's a scary thing. We don't really want that. If you say it's NLP and it can help people feel good and do better sales, everybody's on board with that. And they took a collection of modalities, of things that work, and kind of go, let's pick the best of all these different things that work and create NLP. And it's a constantly evolving thing as well.
I first came across, I used to smoke, and say hello to Dom. I used to smoke and I wanted to give up smoking. So I went to an NLP practitioner, and small village just close to where I live. And her half-hour session, and I thought I was just talking and chatting and listening, and said, right, okay, that's the end of the session. Now I want you to head off. And the next thing I know, I'm in PC world, because the last thing she'd said to me during the session, which I didn't hear consciously, was go and treat yourself.
Yeah.
And I was astonished by the effect of it. It's just absolutely brilliant. And the other thing that I've taken from NLP is reframing. because when you're in a situation, you can either think the worst, take a middle road, or improve on it, can't you?
Yes, it's not what happens to us in life, it's how we communicate what happens to us in life that makes the difference, which is why you get people that have been through some absolutely massive traumas but can still be positive people, because it's what do you say to yourself about what happened? You know, do you go,
Yeah.
this is going to make me a victim and I'll be a victim because of it, or am I going to learn from this and find the positives within it? So yeah, when you change, what is it, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's exactly what it is. It's how we communicate to ourselves.
Yeah. So we can can we determine our frame of mind every day?
Yes, it's the only thing that we truly have control over is our own thoughts. It starts within us. You know, it doesn't matter what is going on in the external world. It's how we choose to take that control and how we choose to think about that. And I say it, and it sounds so dismissive over your mood as such, but it is the
Yeah.
only thing we actually, starts and ends with us. I think it's a great phrase that I absolutely love, and it says, "Never let a bad 10 minutes ruin a perfectly good day." And what a lot of people do is something
Yeah.
happens and then they
Yeah.
think about it and they mull over it, and then this is how I feel about it, and all of this stuff is going on in their head, and the whole day has been ruined by that mood then, when the reality is they could go, it is what it is, and then move on.
Yeah. So put it to one side.
Yes, absolutely. Take the lesson from it, take the resources, the positives from it, and the bad stuff that we don't need, let it go.
Yeah. Because that's basically we've heard a lot of that this morning in the UK. Certain people do need to reframe, but
Yes.
not the politics. If politicians did NLP, the world would be a better place. Do you think?
There is within the hypnosis and NLP community, Barack Obama's speeches before he was elected are very much filled with NLP language patterns, which
Right.
is really interesting how certain things can bypass your conscious mind. So you'd be surprised how many politicians do research some of this stuff.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Now then, let's go back. So, can you tell us about yourself? Because where are you based, and what do you do?
I'm originally from Manchester. I'm very much in the north of England, which is why I have to slow down when I speak sometimes, because I do tend to I talk fast. So yeah, I'm the north of England. I now live in Huddersfield, which is smack in the centre of the UK. So I'm literally straight on the M62 or just down the M1, which as a travelling performer, it just puts me exactly where I need to be. So like in a couple of weeks' time, I'm up in Inverness, I'm down in Cornwall, so I'm fairly central. And what do? I'm a performance hypnotist, a hypnotist, and now a live streamer.
Yes, and it's the last one we're going to touch on in a moment. Now, you see, when you said earlier that you were based in Yorkshire, I thought, a Yorkshireman, but you're not. You're a Mancunian.
I'm a Mancunian. I came over here. I showed them the errors of the ways. I brought running water, soap, carpet. I think I've just isolated most of my audience. Weirdly, I mean, I love Manchester. It's well, but I've been in Yorkshire for so long now. I'm almost an honorary Yorkshireman. I think I've still got another 50 years to go before they'll call me a
Right,
Yorkshireman. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful part of the world, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, here where I am now, I'm 10 minutes away from a busy city. I'm 10 minutes away from absolute countryside. And that's there's no more beautiful a place sometimes.
Okay. And what sort of places could we visit if we were sort of based in Huddersfield? Around
We
the area?
have got we've got the Pennines. The Pennine Trail is absolutely stunning. Loads of reservoir, lakes, walks. What's Huddersfield famous for? I suppose we've got the John Smith Stadium. If you're into the football, which I'm not, I think it causes absolute havoc with the traffic. But we've got like Yorkshire Sculpture Park, which is stunning, and just again really great place to spend the day. And then we've got Holmfirth as well, which is a beautiful village which was made famous from Last of the Summer Wine.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was.
Yeah.
Do you visit there at all?
I go through Holmfirth probably 2 or 3 times a week. It is a beautiful village, some great cafe bars there as well. So yeah, absolutely love Holmfirth.
And you just said earlier you live in amazing walking country.
Yes.
So
yeah, if you like walking, there's lots to do here.
Yeah. So you get your boots on and you're out and about?
Absolutely, yeah. I do a Sunday sessions thing, and one of the things I do, part of the hypnosis or the therapy side of things, is I say to people, what you've got to do is you've got to get out in nature, even if it's for just 20 minutes a day. I think that's where we re-energize our kind of our spirits. That sounds a bit woo-woo, but I think we re-energize when we plug back into nature, and we plug back into nature by going for walks, by trees, lakes, waters, reservoirs. Once you get out there walking, that's when you recharge your batteries.
Yeah, out into the countryside, because like you, we're blessed in Wiltshire with plenty of places to go and have a walk. But it is, I just want to pick up on that point. I wear a Fitbit to actually measure how many steps I do each day. And you just said it's important to get out for at least 20 minutes.
At least. It's and again, I have my Apple Watch, which is it's good to have that, because it lets you know you're doing something, if you know what I mean. I'm a bit of I like my tech as well. So to see my rings on my watch, it reminds me actually you need to get out, because once you break that habit, it's easy to get into the habit of not doing it, and you don't notice the change. The psychological, the unconscious change of it is very tiny steps as such. So you've got to get into that habit of getting out there, and like I say, even for just 20 minutes, it keeps you grounded.
It does, and it's you don't have to spend any money at all. You can just go out the door and just walk.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now that brings us, I think, coming closer to where we are now, is basically you had to make a major change at the start of the pandemic, because live stage work, it stopped, didn't it?
Absolutely. I remember, I've always been a stage performer. I was never really into doing the video stuff, because I love the energy that the audience gives you. And then I remember hearing about the coronavirus, and that was kind of starting to come over, and I didn't think it was going to affect shows. And then I remember that moment when the announcement was made and the whole world shut down. And for me, it was difficult. I just bought a new, very expensive vehicle because I was doing okay for myself. And then I just remember over 2 days, it was just email after email after phone call, show being cancelled, contract being cancelled, cruise ships cancelled, and that was everything gone. And as a stage performer, I saw my sense of identity challenged. I was a performer. That is who I was. And it was really difficult. And I remember another hypnotist, a friend of mine, rang me up when I was in a very dark moment. And he said to me, how are things with you? And I told him, listen, I am struggling. And he's gone, let's do a Facebook Live. Let's just talk about your experience as a stage hypnotist. And maybe you can help other hypnotists who are struggling as well. And I didn't want to do it. I was a bit nervous about it. And I remember a couple of years beforehand that I had to do an interview with an American conference organizer who used BeLive software. And we kept trying to go live together using just Facebook Live, and it didn't work. And I went, Jason, let's do the BeLive thing. So we've done the BeLive thing. And that for me was a massive pivot. It kind of gave me the same nerves and nervous energy as a live show does, because as you know, when you go live on a live stream, anything can happen. And I had to pivot and started live streaming, and absolutely I haven't looked back. It's been amazing.
Yeah, but you had complete mastery of the stage. You've got the stagecraft and appearing in front of hundreds of people on stage, not a problem.
Yeah.
And then you come to live video. I think we've all got this. we don't have a good relationship with the camera. We don't like how we look. Can you talk
Yeah.
a bit about that, about how you get from being afraid of being on camera to actually enjoying being on camera? Because I think that's a step that a lot of people still have to make.
Absolutely. And it's, I took it back to those early days when I had that fear of public speaking. Like for me to go live, I remember watching the first live back, and it was at the time when we couldn't get our haircuts. It's where the beard came from.
Okay.
We couldn't get our haircuts. I remember looking back, and I remember being so self-conscious of how terrible I looked. The lighting was terrible. The camera was terrible. I looked terrible. And I kind of thought, you know what? I just want to improve that. And exactly the same as a stage show. I always say to people when I'm training them about doing stage shows, you know, record your show. Don't look at what you're doing and critique yourself in that sense. Look at it and see how you can improve, how you can streamline it. So that's exactly the same principle that I took to that. I went, if this was a stage show, I know that I wouldn't be happy because of how this looks. So let's change the lighting a little bit and bring that element to it. And I go, right, now we need to change this. So I looked at it from kind of from a pragmatic point of view, from the how I would do it as a breakdown of a show, of going, right, that needs improving, that needs tweaking. And as I made those slight improvements, each show got a little bit better. And then you start getting compliments on that. And then that kind of really changes things. So then it got to the point where I go, actually, I need to look at this the same way that I do a in-person live show. So again, you know, a purple shirt, there's certain clothing that I'll wear on a stage show. I try to make sure that every live stream has that same kind of principles, you know, the lighting, the sound, how it looks, how the audience is going to feel from it. But you get that off. For me, it was about just doing it and not being worried about the first ones not being that good, because I kind of knew when I started live streaming that if I was going to keep doing it, I want the first 2, 3, 4, 5 live streams to be a bit naff, because my audience is going to buy into my journey if they're part of that journey. If you start brilliant, they're not with you. If you start terrible and the people are seeing those improvements, they're there with you.
They're on the journey.
Absolutely.
They're pulled in, because the thing is, you've got to have, you can't, when you're in front of people, you can actually bring them in.
Yes.
You can't do that with live video. They've got to be attracted by your presence on the camera. And it is a learned skill, isn't it? You can improve show by show.
Exactly. And again, I think it's so important to watch your shows back with an open mind and kind of go, right, why am I doing that? Why did I pull that silly face? You know, why do I do this? I used to get messages whilst I was live from people, especially when you're interviewing people. I don't have a poker face, and I'd get messages from people when I knew a guest would say something that I fundamentally disagreed with, but my face would just show it. And so you learn to kind of go, right, you've got to remember you're on camera.
I mean, I too. I mean, I sit there with my iPad, and I go to Facebook and I press play on the TV, and I'd watch myself on TV. And Angelica comes in, are you watching yourself again? I said, yeah, I'm actually learning. Because when you're actually live, you can't see yourself.
No.
And you can't see yourself in the context of the live broadcast.
Exactly. And it's like you said, it's seeing what those expressions are and how they come across on camera.
Indeed, which brings us forward to something that you and I, Amazon Live. Amazon Live. I mean, when we started going live, and you started going live at the start of the pandemic, there were audiences on Facebook and YouTube, and you could play to an audience, and then gradually Facebook sort of closed things down, and then we heard about Amazon Live.
It was I think it was listening to you that kind of got me onto it, and I remember kind of exchanging with you about the whole process. And it's the same but different, and there's a different energy on there as well, and it's a different audience that's on there. And I really enjoy Amazon Live.
I mean, you first of all, you've got to do your apprenticeship, haven't you?
Yes.
You get accepted as an influencer. That's stage one, which means you've got to have a following on Facebook, YouTube, etc. So that's all done. Then you get your iPhone or your iPad out, and you go live for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I
What was
found
your
that,
first 90 minutes
that
like?
90 minutes for me was difficult. Like looking back now, you're learning that process, but I was kind of like 90 minutes to talk about a product or products. It was just, I struggled with it. So I thought I'll break it down into a couple of 20-minute spots, but then I was being lazy with it to start with. I thought what I'll do is I'll do an Amazon Live at the same time as one of my other shows and try and get it in that way. And so, but again, that wasn't the right process. And then again, by putting in the reps and changing things a little bit. But yeah, that first 90 minutes for me was a struggle. But then you kind of figure out by watching other Amazon Live presenters what the format is as well. And then you learn that Amazon Live is a slightly different format to what you'd be doing in a Facebook group or on YouTube.
Totally. And there is, getting through the 90 minutes is not painful, but it's stressful.
Yeah.
Then you apply, and if you don't get accepted, you've got to go back 30 days later. Once you're accepted, then you can go live on Amazon Live anytime you like, 24/7. And it's the world's third largest website. And we've got our own pages on that website. Now, to me, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Because the audience is brought to us, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. It brings you a whole new audience. I have some followers on there now, friends on there now that I have met through that. And it's weird because even though Amazon Live is a sales platform, it's weird that there's people on there that are there for the entertainment value. There's lots of familiar names of people that are there to enjoy the Amazon Live streams, not necessarily to purchase, even though a lot of people are on there to buy. And that kind of that makes it a different energy altogether. And there's some great characters online and such a supportive community.
Yeah. I mean, that's the brilliance of it, that we all support each other.
Yeah.
There's no infighting, there's no jealousy. We're all on our own journeys because it's just us on screen.
Yeah.
And we've got to do it for 2 hours. And in the beginning, I started off doing half an hour, then an hour, then an hour and a half. And now I can I can blab for Britain for 2 hours with no problem at all.
Yeah.
And just to remind to everybody, next week, July 12th and 13th is Amazon Prime Days. And if you're a member of Amazon Prime, that's the time to go shopping on Amazon. And when you do, you'll find myself and Grant on there. Because it is the future, isn't it? I mean, we've learned the trade by going live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, but the real benefits are being felt on Amazon because we actually get paid, don't we?
And that's it. So many people were on like Facebook had stars where you could get paid with that, but that process was really complicated. YouTube has its monetization program, which again is, a challenge to get that. And everybody was kind of putting all their eggs in that basket to make that happen. Whereas Amazon Live, what's really nice about it is it's about the personalities. It's about the people. Whereas on YouTube, I think it's about the format of the show and it's long form. On Amazon Live, it's about, it's just you talking about a product, which shouldn't work. It shouldn't work. Like, who would find that entertaining? This is a dongle. It shouldn't be entertaining, but it's people buying to you. But what's amazing is once you get past that initial trial period and become an insider, the motivation, like for me on YouTube, the motivation to get monetized, the amount of work you've got to put in, the hours you've got to do, the creativity, the production value to make a tiny bit of noise on there is so much hard work. On Amazon, because it's a newer platform, literally within a very short space of time, you're seeing sales revenue come in, you're seeing money coming in. And as much as we're all very spiritual and lovely people and all that, nothing motivates people like seeing this is what I've done and this is what I've earned. And it's instant, and you're the same as me. I can imagine that, since becoming an insider, I have not done a stream without earning money, which is ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's totally amazing because we know that when we next go live on Amazon, we will make money.
Yeah.
Now we're a bit in the lap of the gods as to how much money we make,
Yes.
but we have the opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
And it's consistent. It
Yeah.
is consistent every time. If it just, we couldn't imagine it before we got onto Amazon Live, that every time you go live, you'll get money.
I used to get excited if I got like an Amazon affiliates click and somebody kind of purchased a book from one of my other interview shows, and I'd make like 40 cents. I'd be like, 40 cents for doing nothing. I'd be dead excited about it. And now you can go on Amazon Live, and it's, you know, you can, depending on, like you said, the lap of the gods, you can earn a decent income from it. A friend of mine put it quite interesting to me the other week, actually.
Yeah.
And he's gone, so you earn this amount for doing this amount of hours every day. And I've gone, yeah. And he went, well, why are you not on there more then? And you look at it and you go, that's a great point.
Well, the thing is, every time you go live, it's a different audience.
Exactly. It's
so like once you've got your act together and you've got your patter and you can talk about anything that's in the carousel, then you can go. We can go live at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. And it's so interesting because like some of the audience are there for the show, but some of the audience are there for a very short space of time. So, and that's the thing that I struggled as I'm evolving as an Amazon Liver, is the fact of, you know, sometimes as it comes towards the end of my Amazon live stream, my energy levels are a little bit more depleted because I know what I'm going to say next. But I've got to remember that my audience probably doesn't, unless they're the ones that watch every show. A lot of that audience doesn't know that. So it's keeping that energy level up. And it's weird to see the little bubbles come up. You think you're wrapping up, you think you're coming to the end, and then all of a sudden you're seeing the bubbles coming up from people clipping on products, and you're like, I can't stop now. Let's circle back to the beginning.
The worst thing is when you're coming towards the end, the audience don't, and the viewer figures, because you'll get live viewer figures, the viewer figures start going up.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm going to carry on.
Yeah.
And you can. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
There's nobody saying you've done your bit today, you've got to come back tomorrow. You can carry on as long as you want.
Yeah.
Which brings us neatly to next week, which is Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And that is a mega day. I mean, I missed out on it last year because I was just in the 90-minute thing.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to it this year.
Yeah.
It's because it's a bit like Black Friday.
Yes.
In fact, a lot like Black Friday.
Yeah. And it's even in the UK, you know, Amazon Live's not a massive thing, but I have friends now going, oh, I'm going to purchase this, but I'm going to wait until Amazon Prime Day. And it's like, it is massive. So and I know a few of us are, you know, we're almost training for a marathon. Yeah.
We're very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
With the right products on Amazon Live. And in addition to that, we both have one thing in common, which is broadcasting from Be Live.
Absolutely. And it's weird because, I mean, I love my tech, but when I started this journey, this chapter, I'd looked at other stuff. You know, there is other platforms like OBS and all sorts of these other things. And I looked at it and I'm like, that's complicated. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I've got the right computer equipment. I don't know if I've got the right this. It was complicated. And then because I had to find something and I stumbled upon Be Live, it for me, just so intuitive. And it made it add that level of production. It made that add that level of kind of, it made it easy for me to go live. And it stepped aside from a lot of the stuff that other people that I saw that were live were putting out there, because I could add my own brand into it as well. I could add little bits of you know, lower thirds and tickers scrolling across the bottom, and it made that dead simple. And I absolutely love Be Live.
So do I. For all the reasons that you just said, because we can do anything we like with Be Live, and especially going out to Amazon. And the latest edition, which we can now talk about publicly, is that we can show Amazon Live comments,
which is amazing, because it gets that engagement with the audience, and it's weird because like the Amazon Live audience can be a tricky one to get them to engage with you, because they're in the middle of the day and they've gone, oh, I need a new HDMI cable, or I need to buy a new camera. I'm going to go on Amazon and buy it. They go on there, they go to the product page, and they see that somebody's live, and hopefully it's either me or you. And then they click on that. They're not on there to have a conversation. They're not on there to engage. They're on there to learn something, to move them on to that buying decision. So to get that engagement from them can be a challenge sometimes. By adding that feature of the Amazon comments coming up on screen, it brings them in a little bit more. They get to see their name, their little profile picture on there as well. It makes them involved in the process.
It's key. So kudos to Be Live, and thank you for providing Grant and I with the ability to do things on Amazon that very few people can, and that's to engage the audience. Right now, do you have a sort of message to anybody who's thinking about going live, sort of a couple of tips as to the best approach to going live if you've not done it before?
Start where you are. No matter what equipment you've got, no matter what it is, start where you are. Because like in the beginning of any journey, there's going to be some challenges, there's going to be some mistakes, there's going to be some, failures along that way. But if you don't start now, if you don't do it now, you're not going to learn that stuff, And so going live is the future for a lot of industries, for a lot of markets. Start where you are and do it now. Do it. What is it? Imperfect action beats perfect nothingness. Start now. Get it done. And don't be worried about what other people think of you, because when you're out there doing your stuff and being authentic about yourself, your audience will find you. So yeah, start now.
Sound advice. Grant, it's been a pleasure to actually get together live on Be Live, and thank you for spending time with me. And I look forward when we do more broadcasts together. To everybody who watched this live, a big thank you. So from Grant and I, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Enjoy broadcasting. Bye for now.
See you later. Thank you very much for having me, Stephen.
You're more than welcome. That was just